Are there any further amendments? I see Councilmember Palmisano in queue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion to rescind the Transportation Rideshare Worker Protections Ordinance, and if I can get a second, I then have some remarks on that.
Second.
First, colleagues, I'd like to thank Councilmember Jenkins for finding a way for us to stop this train. She is the reason why we were able to take a pause today, and all of your approval on that is actually really heartening. This ordinance was awfully misguided. A sign of good faith here is to start over. Interestingly, there's already a lot of ideas as to how, and I welcome them to start with a clean sheet of paper. This ordinance started with the good intent to ensure every rideshare driver earned a city-mandated minimum wage, but it is now so tainted with negative public opinion and outcry that I find it unsalvageable. It's caused Uber and Lyft to make plans to stop providing service to Minneapolis. I'm sure I'm receiving the same communications your offices are. People coming up to me in public, like you all are, from people who are upset, angry, frustrated, and downright despondent over this ordinance. You may actually be receiving more communications than me officially because I'm one of only 3 members of this body to see what a monumentally bad idea this was and vote against it whenever I had a chance. The consequences of this ordinance were clear to me before the first vote. I don't say unintended consequences, I say consequences. It was easy to see what they would be. It was easy to see that large numbers and groups of people would be negatively impacted if even a small amount of forethought was put into this. Rideshare drivers are not a monolith. They're a diverse group of people who pursue this work for a wide variety of reasons. Assuming that they all wanted and would benefit by this was negligent. I've heard from many drivers telling their truths about what this will do to them. It means more competition for less rides if the price of the rides goes up. It means loss of their source of income and ability to provide for their families. TNC drivers who had financed their cars have had them recalled. For a couple of drivers in my own ward, that means everything to their ability to provide for their family. It means the loss of college tuition through the Uber Pro College program. One of my constituents was 3 courses away from being able to finally complete his college degree. These aren't hypotheticals. They're already happening. How did this council push through an ordinance they thought was best without taking into account data and the will of the people? Did they not care? That's not true. We all care. But even as I speak with you this week, it feels like, sadly, other kinds of victories or self-promotion are more important, and frankly, that makes me sad. There are many governmental and nonprofit agencies that supply medical or CADI, community access for disability inclusion waivers to their clients. These are contracts held with Uber and Lyft. What happens to these folks when Uber and Lyft leave the market? Upcoming TNC companies will not be ready to take on that work. They will need time. They'll need to vet any new possible partners. They'll need to ensure their needs are being met and then negotiate a contract. These clients are going to be left without any supported transportation. To suggest that Uber and Lyft can choose to leave this market and new companies will fill this void is a fantasy. The void of 400,000 rides per week in the metro area is not going to be accounted for in even 2 more months. New vendors don't have the infrastructure and technology to fill this. This will take an extraordinary amount of time and money to create new service providers. Those with access to capital are privileged. This immediately puts those without means at a disadvantage, and it's going to perpetuate their historic marginalization. So let's go back to the drawing board and craft an ordinance that meets the needs of drivers, of riders, and the community at large. Or let the state legislature direct a statewide plan. Minneapolis going alone and damaging itself, the metro area, and the rest of the state has proven to be folly. I am willing to support an entirely new common sense ordinance that fulfills the goals of every driver receiving a minimum wage while not doing harm to the rest of the community. I know this is possible if my colleagues are willing. Some of you have important ideas that you're looking to incorporate in a different ordinance. I doubt there is the will here today, but I am here to say, let's start over.
Councilmember 1.